Hello everybody, this is TireD1 here. Today's video, I am doing a couple of scary story reading videos. This is part of my horror series I'm working on for my YouTube channel and stuff. So I was going to do a game, but I'm going to do that one tomorrow. I'm going to do a part 4 of Little Nightmares and stuff. Right now I'm doing 2 scary story reading videos right now for this channel. If you guys are new to the channel, don't forget to hit the subscribe button for new content and all kinds of stuff coming to my channel. And we will go from there. Okay. For the first story, this story is called Seeing Red. That's the name of the story. Okay. Everyone loves the first day of school, right? New year, new clothes, new friends. It's a day full of potential and hope before all the dreary depressions of reality show up to ruin all the fun. Like the first day of school for a different reason, though you see I have a sort of power when I look at people. I can sense a sort of aura around them, a colored outline based on how long that person has to live. Most everyone I meet around my age is surrounded by a solid green hue, which means they have plenty of time left. A fair amount of them have a yellow orangish tinge to their auras, which tends to mean a car crash or some other tragedy, anything that takes place before their time. As they say, the real fun is when the auras venture into the red end of the spectrum, though every now and again I see someone who's basically walking stoplight. Those are the ones who get murdered or killed themselves. It's a rush to see them and know their time is numbered. With that in mind, I always get to class very early, so I could scout out my classmates' fates. The first kid who walked in was basically radiating red. I chuckled to myself, too damn bad, bro, but as people kept walking in, they all had the same intense glow. I finally caught a glimpse of my rose-tinted reflection in the window, but I was too stunned to move, or Professor stepped in and locked the door. His aura is sickening shade of green. Okay. And there's another one I'm going to read you guys. Sorry guys, the computer's really slow. It's not the fastest computer in the world. Okay. Here it is. This is my second. This is story number 2. This one is called He Stood Against My Window. I don't know why I looked up, but when I did, I saw him there. He stood against my window. His forehead rested against the glass. His eyes were still and light, and he smiled a lipstick red cartoonish grin. And he just stood there in the window. My wife was upstairs sleeping. My son was in his crib. I couldn't move. I froze and watched him looking past me through the glass. Oh, please no. His smile never moved. But he put a hand up. He put up a hand up, and slid down the glass, watching me with matted hair. And yellow skin, and face through the window. I couldn't do anything. I just stayed there, frozen still, in the bushes. I was pruning, looking into my home. He stood against my window. There's a little short, little thing here. I couldn't move. I froze and watched him looking past me through the window. Okay, that's that one. I don't think I'd like it very well if someone looked through my window. Um, Sitting there frozen, couldn't move, not knowing what I could do. Obviously, he could kind of see you, I assume, but if I need to get something, like something to defend myself with in case something bad happens, gotta try to get it before he kind of moves to another spot or somewhere. But I think that's actually kind of one of the spookier ones, having somebody look through your window. So that's it for my story reading. Then I only did a couple of them, just the first two. I'm gonna do a couple of story readings, a couple of these other story readings too. Fortunately, I only did two of these. Actually, I might try and do one more and stuff because that one was really short. Okay. This next one is called The Eyes Are Watching Me. This is the third story. I bought a new house in a small town of Winthorpe. The house was cheap, but the most important part was that I needed to get away from the city. A few months ago, I had a run-in with a stalker. While I had managed to get him arrested, I couldn't shake the feeling of eyes just constantly watching me. I felt like there were eyes everywhere at home, on the street. So I decided to move out into the country to somewhere with less people, just for peace of mind. The house itself was big and somewhat old, but otherwise very welcoming. The agent who introduced me to the house had been required to mention that a serial killer had lived there in the past, which was why the house was so cheap. However, my next door neighbor Sarah both told me to pay the thought no mind, for other owners had lived in the house since then, and all of them were very happy with it. I lived the house. Its interior furnishing were beautiful and very comforting. The people of Winthorpe were friendly, often bringing over freshly baked pastries, for inviting me over for dinner. Get-togethers, they said, were the key of making sure everyone who lived in Winthorpe loved it there. Yet after a week of stopped loving it, the feeling of someone watching returned worse than before. I tried to ignore it, but soon I started losing sleep. Giant bags grew under my eyes, and I began yawning almost as much as I breathed. Sarah was kind enough to let me stay in her house a few nights. It was during this time that I heard the legend of Forrest Carter, the serial killer who had lived in my house while no one knows his exact kill count. Carter, also known as the Winthrop Peacock, was a man with extremely severe case of narcissism. Legends say that he couldn't fall asleep if he didn't feel like he was being watched. He was finally arrested for putting up a scarecrow to watch him during the night. Only it wasn't a scarecrow. Had murdered a 17-year-old girl just so her corpse could stare at her. The story gave me shivers, and after I went home, I felt like there were hundreds of pairs of eyes just watching me, no matter how I turned today. However, it was the first day that I acted out. I was cooking breakfast when I felt the eyes instinctively. Out of fear, I threw my kitchen knife, which lodged itself into the wall. As I pulled it out, I found myself staring at a pair of eyes pickling in formaldehyde. I've been watching the police peel away the drywall of my house for hours now. So far, they've found 142 pairs of eyes in little glass jars. The scariest thing is each and every one was staring at me. Holy cow. Did you imagine not knowing? Not only did you have a serial killer that used to live in the house you're living in, but also had souvenirs of like people he's killed and collected stuff like remains and all that stuff from him, but had a jar of like human eyeballs and stuff in a jar, all staring at her, not realizing like, that's kind of weird having all that stuff there. And that one was a little bit longer than the second one I did. So, if you guys like these videos, post a comment on the section below. If you guys like this video, hit the like button. And if you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button. And I will see you all in the next video. Later!